Iraqi bases that house American troops were the target of more than a dozen Iranian missiles on Wednesday in retaliation for the U.S. killing Iran's most powerful military general. Iran has vowed revenge for the killing of General Qasem Soleimani in U.S. drone strike in Baghdad on Friday, calling it an act of war and state terrorism. In statement, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, an elite wing of the Iranian military that is also known as the IRGC, said the attacks were hard revenge for the death of Soleimani. Here's what you need to know. Al-Assad Base has hosted Trump. The Al-Assad Air Base, which houses U.S. troops, is one of the largest and oldest military bases in Iraq. It is located in Anbar province, hotbed of ISIS activity in western Iraq between 2014 and 2017. Anbar was the birthplace of Sunni extremism in the aftermath of the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003. In December 2018, President Donald Trump visited troops at Al-Assad. "We came in, we felt very safe coming in. It was pretty difficult journey in certain ways, but we felt very, very good, very safe," Trump said, according to White House transcript. Vice President Mike Pence visited the base year later to celebrate Thanksgiving with around 150 service members. Erbil Base is in Kurdistan. The military base in Erbil, also targeted by Iran on Wednesday morning, also houses U.S. troops. It is located in the semi-autonomous Kurdish region of Iraq, run by the Kurdistan Regional Government (KRG), which is strong ally of the U.S. The U.S. worked closely with Kurdish Peshmerga fighters in the fight against ISIS, after Iran fired more than a dozen ballistic missiles on Wednesday morning. Iran's Foreign Minister Javad Zarif said on Twitter the attack was targeting base from which cowardly armed attack against our citizens and senior officials were launched, apparently referring to the killing of Soleimani. It is unclear if the two bases played any role in the U.S. attack. There were no initial reports of any U.S. casualties in either of the Iranian attacks Wednesday, but an assessment of the impact of the strikes is underway. U.S. official told CNN. Iraqi security officials told CNN there were no casualties among Iraqi security forces, after an earlier preliminary report from an Iraqi security source indicated there were Iraqi casualties. 5,000 U.S. troops in Iraq on Sunday. Iraq's parliament voted to expel U.S. troops. Iran-backed Shia paramilitaries have repeatedly called for the immediate withdrawal of U.S. forces since the U.S. attack. Over the weekend, they called on Iraqi security forces to keep distance of at least kilometer (0.6 miles) from U.S. bases, and warned Iraqis about turning into human shields. In Baghdad, Iraqis have been concerned about getting sucked into an escalating proxy war between the U.S. and Iran. Caretaker Prime Minister Adel Abdul Mahdi has said the withdrawal of U.S. troops would be the only way out of further violence in Iraq. On Tuesday, Trump said he intends to pull U.S. troops out of Iraq, but not immediately. "I think we've done fantastic job, but eventually we want to be able to let Iraq run their own affairs," Trump said in the Oval Office. "And that's very important. We want to get out, but this isn't the right point." The U.S. military presence in Iraq has fluctuated greatly since the 2003 invasion. At its height, the U.S. had 170,000 troops in Iraq. In 2011, former President Barack Obama withdrew U.S. forces from the country. In 2014, around 5,000 troops were deployed to Iraq at the request of the Iraqi government, who sought U.S. assistance in the fight against ISIS. Troop levels have been roughly the same